Whoa. Okay.
Look. Hurry up. Just grab that. Get in.
See him?
A Wendigo sanctuary. Something crazy just happened.
I thought I'd just seen a light down on the path. Look at that.
What would you do if a place you trusted suddenly felt wrong, before anything actually happened? A hidden structure appears deep in the forest, while an empty campground stays silent when it shouldn't. These are the kinds of camping encounters where nothing attacks, nothing speaks, yet everything tells you to leave. An experienced big game hunter was surveying the wilderness near Nordegg, Alberta, Canada, heading out on what was expected to be a standard trip through terrain he knew well. Familiar with tracking signs and interpreting animal behavior, there was nothing at first to suggest this outing would be different from the many he had done before. Deep within a remote stretch of forest, he came across a large formation made from logs and branches. The structure appeared intentionally built and clearly did not belong in the surrounding environment. It didn't match natural fall patterns or resemble any known hunting shelter, immediately raising questions about who or what could have assembled it so far from civilization. Choosing not to disturb the site, the hunter set up a trail camera nearby and returned to camp. Several hours later, his phone alerted him to movement captured by the camera. What appeared in the image was unexpected and unsettling. The full recording offers no clear answers. What attracted something to the structure, and how long had it been there before it was discovered? The form seen on camera may explain why the structure exists at all. Do you think it was built for an animal's use, or for someone to return to? Hold on a sec. If you're enjoying this so far, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's continue. In October 2023, as storm clouds gathered over Kinglake National Park in Australia, a solo camper arrived after work expecting a quiet overnight escape. The drive-in was calm, and the plan was straightforward. Set up the rooftop tent, prepare dinner, and sleep beneath the trees. Nothing about the journey suggested anything unusual. She selected Campsite 9, a location equipped with a fire pit and picnic table, and immediately sensed that something felt off.
It's a bit overcast. There is going to be a storm coming. Heading to Kinglake for one night. I tried to get a booking for tomorrow night, but they were all booked out. I am Campsite 9. So I can put that up there. Whoever wants to check that.
Although the park was fully booked, every campsite around her was completely empty. There were no vehicles, no voices, and no visible movement anywhere in the area.
Before it starts to piss down with rain, I'm just going to get changed quickly. That was so easy to set up, oh my god. Then to always keep your keys on you and press the alarm button for your car. in case something happens, just to deter people. I'm freaking myself out now.
She set up camp quickly as rain began to fall, trying to ignore the uneasy feeling building in her chest. As darkness settled in, the silence grew overwhelming. There was no wind, no insects, and no distant road noise, only a heavy, unnatural stillness that made the surroundings feel wrong. She checked the booking site again. 10 campsites were still marked as reserved, yet no one arrived. Alone in the dark, her thoughts began to spiral. Every sound felt imagined, or worse, delayed. She kept her keys ready, prepared to trigger the car alarm if necessary. Nothing happened. And somehow, that made the situation feel even worse.
Well, now it's starting to spit, but maybe people have changed their mind, or maybe they've booked some campsites out, I don't know.
Panic slowly took hold. Convinced that staying the night would be a mistake she might not walk away from, she packed up her camp and drove off into the storm, heart racing as she left the empty park behind. The empty campground could have been caused by last-minute cancellations or bad weather. Do you think leaving was the right call, or would you have stayed the night? Bear is the dedicated creator behind the YouTube channel Exploring with Bear, where he documents journeys into locations tied to the unexplained. In a video uploaded on December 5, 2025, his work blends historical research with on-site exploration, taking viewers to abandoned places and areas believed to hold lingering activity. But on one winter night, Bear and his friend B encountered something far more disturbing than any ghost story. On a cold, snowy evening, the two arrived at a remote area known locally as the Haunted Forest. The atmosphere felt tense from the start, not only because of the site's reputation, but due to an unexplained sense of being watched.
We are currently in the Haunted Forest. We just got here, just started snowing. But right when we started walking up the trail, this car was going super slow. And it pulled in and turned the lights off, and it's been sitting there for a minute. It's a little suspicious. Anyway, this place has crazy activity in it, from voices to shadow figures to little kids' voices. So there is a cemetery tucked away back in here, where I've also found some crazy things, and like some kind of hooded figure one night. It was crazy, man. I injured myself running that night. So I will be running the K2 once we get in the cemetery. Not only that, B's got the thermal camera hooked up to his phone.
We got 2 little pocket knives.
2 little pocket knives.
And our muscles.
So that didn't make B feel any better either.
As they began walking up the trail, a car appeared behind them, moving unusually slowly before stopping and shutting off its lights. The silence that followed, broken only by falling snow, immediately changed the tone of the night. The forest itself was known for reports of strange voices, shadow-like figures, and unsettling sounds. Bear recalled a previous visit to a hidden cemetery nearby, where he had once encountered a hooded figure and fled in fear, injuring himself in the process. Armed with basic equipment, including a K2 meter, a thermal camera, and small knives, they continued deeper into the woods despite growing unease.
Man, we'll be able to see.
Okay, see, I got the camera right there.
Oh, yeah.
And see? See, that's the trail we're walking on.
Yeah, it's still a little warm. Okay, it's refreshing. Getting a read. Ooh, is that little spots? Look, there's a little spot right down there. Right back there. Eyeballs. Okay.
Dude, look how the path lights up. Isn't that crazy?
That is cool.
Why does the path light up?
What?
There's something.
Put it in front of the camera. What'd you see?
I went too fast. Something.
Ooh.
There's something up there. Something's moving up there.
Do you hear that sound?
Yeah, something moving.
I keep hearing crap. Man, this place is so spooky at night. What is that noise, man? That is really close. And where they came from, the direction is a dead end. You know what I mean? Yeah, that means they were sitting way down there for a while and then seen us turn their lights off and pulled in across behind us.
As they moved through the trail, the thermal camera began showing unusual heat patterns on the ground and brief distortions suggesting unseen movement. The memory of the suspicious vehicle lingered, making the situation feel less like coincidence and more like deliberate observation. They pressed on toward the old cemetery, a place Bear associated with an earlier disturbing discovery that resembled human remains near a weathered grave.
So, there was like some organs back here one night, man.
Some what?
Organs? There was organs back in the back of the cemetery. It looked like organs. It was a pile of organs or something. Same place where the hooded figure was. That's where we're about to go. Right up here, man. Right up here.
Where's it at?
Right in there behind those bushes, man. They were standing right in the middle back there. Oh. Whew. Thermal.
Yeah, dude, some of these are really hot. Some are showing hot, some are not. But then look at out there. You know what I mean? You see a whole bunch.
Yeah, check out how old some of these stones are. Some of them you can't even read no more. 1899. The organs were right back here. Shh. Did you hear something moving? That path, if those people are coming, comes right down back through there.
Keep going.
Well, hold on, dude. I thought I'd just seen a light down on the path. I'm telling you, I feel like
I'm being watched.
Yeah, I feel like there's somebody right down here, man.
Surrounded by tombstones dating back to the late 1800s, the feeling of being watched intensified. A distant light and strange noises from the forest added to the tension, making the area feel dangerous rather than abandoned. Eventually, they decided to return to their truck. As they walked back, the same car reappeared, creeping along behind them.
There's a light back in the forest. Car.
Creepy slow.
Super duper creepy slow. What are they doing? That's that same people creeping. I told you, man. Something ain't right about these people.
I think we can go back to the truck.
Yeah. My camera's not focusing. What is that? You
What?
see that? Is that something on my... Is that the ball cap on my... No, there's something on my truck, man. Hold on. Let me get these doors unlocked. Man, that is freaking creepy. Hey, hurry up, B. Look, hurry up. Just grab that. Get in. So, it had this belt. Look at this freaking baby down. Look at that.
When they reached the vehicle, they found a disturbing object placed on it. A small baby doll bound with a belt, its eyes unnaturally colored, and its hands taped. The object felt intentional, like a warning or message. They left the forest immediately, unharmed, but deeply shaken, convinced they had been followed and intentionally intimidated. In the end, the actions of other people felt far more disturbing than any ghost story, making it clear they would never return. If you were in their position, alone in the dark and faced with something like this, what would you have done? The next disturbing video comes from Rob Outdoor, a UK-based solo camping and van life channel centered on realistic overnight stays in remote or unconventional places. The channel captures unscripted situations, often showing how quickly discomfort and danger can develop during stealth camping. The footage was recorded on July 13, 2024, at a rural woodland car park in the United Kingdom. As evening sets in, Rob drives along a rough, uneven road into a small forest car park. Almost immediately, he senses something is off. Several vehicles are already parked there, many with single male occupants sitting inside.
Single male occupants. At least 2 vehicles with single male occupants. I'll show you at some point later on how bad the road is on the way in here. And you can't tell me people want to drive down this car park just to walk their dogs into stealth mode. So that car there, single male occupant. Car next to it, guy just walking his dog, and the car next to that, single male occupant. What are people doing here? What do people, if they're not, I mean, what am I doing here, to be honest? What am I doing here? Oh God.
The number of cars, along with their unusual spacing, feels strange for such a quiet, rural location at that hour. After parking, Rob switches into stealth mode and reflects on how unlikely it seems that so many people would be present simply to walk dogs or enjoy an evening stroll. Despite the growing unease, he decides to stay and begins making dinner inside the van, hoping the mood will calm as night approaches.
Got a little treat for pudding, some ice cream, chicken tikka masala, pakoras, naan bread. Yes, I spilt some. Bit more naan bread cooking in there. And a beer. This place is weird. Bloke in the van's just pulled up, he was parked there. He was parked there. He walked down there. See him? So that bloke walked down there and then walked behind my van where I was cleaning my stuff. Look at that bloke there, look. Trying to look in the back of my van.
While organizing gear at the rear of the van, Rob notices a man walking closely behind him. The individual attempts to peer inside through the back doors, lingering just long enough to make the moment uncomfortable. Then, that man approaches and initiates an awkward interaction.
Yeah, just just doing a bit of dinner, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. How about yourself, you alright?
Yeah,
Yeah. Much about?
not today actually.
No.
Saw a couple, but always see some down to us relative.
Yeah. No, it's nice doing it. I'd say it's nice to get away into it.
Yeah.
I've just had a curry and it seemed like a good idea at the time, but not so much anymore.
Yeah. It's clearing up this thing.
It is, it's a bloody, yeah. Wasn't not ideal, to be honest. All right, mate, no worries.
Not have my dinner.
Have a nice evening.
And you.
Cheers, ciao. You can't tell me that's not weird. Just hovering down here. He was hovering down here. This is where the other guy come. Now when I was trying to show you, I was in the back of the van, he was hovering here trying to look inside my van. But he said he'd just been deer hunting. Alright mate, that's what you call it.
His reason for being there feels unclear and unconvincing. Although the exchange remains calm, the timing and lack of explanation increase Rob's discomfort. After the man leaves, the feeling of being watched continues.
Current situation is, that thing there is just pulled in. That Golf has been there since we turned up, and there's that camper van just turned up as well. That Golf, a man still sat in the driver's seat, got his lights on, and he's been here for ages, just sat there. So this is the situation earlier on. Back door open, so you can't exactly go through there. Two blokes come through, walking through here. They were hovering here, stood in this little area, trying to peer into the van. He was down here earlier on, Look what's back, people. Look what's back.
Vehicles continue arriving and repositioning. One van appears to leave and return multiple times, while others remain parked with engines running and lights on. People linger in the same spots repeatedly, making it difficult for Rob to feel unnoticed or at ease inside the van. Just as Rob prepares to sleep, the situation escalates.
5 minutes ago, 2 cars have been round, popping their horns. The motorhome that was here, he's bottled it and he's gone. It's now 11:30, and I'm not in the same car park. I've moved on. Just getting into bed, just like as I said, a couple of cars turned up. One held its horn on in the main car park for ages, and then he pulled next to the other camper van that was there, held its horn on for ages, and then pulled up next to me, held its horn on for ages, and then as it went to move out the car park, another car pulled in. So at that point I thought, I'm getting out of here.
Several vehicles begin deliberately sounding their horns nearby, holding them down for extended periods. One pulls up alongside the van and continues honking, with laughter audible from inside. At this point, the behavior no longer feels random. It feels intentional. Late that night, Rob decides to leave the car park entirely and drive to another location to rest. The following morning, he reflects that while nothing directly dangerous occurred, the constant attention, repeated vehicle movements, and deliberate noise created an environment that felt increasingly unsafe. He explains that staying would have likely meant no sleep and rising stress, and trusting his instincts, he believes leaving was the right choice. Situations like this raise questions about whether the behavior was coincidence, intimidation, or something more deliberate. In places meant to feel quiet and empty, how do you know when it's time to trust your instincts and leave? More than 10 years after his last visit, a solo camper returned to a remote mountain region in the American Southwest, a place he had deliberately avoided since a night that stayed with him for years. Earlier that evening, he set up camp, lit his lantern, prepared a meal, and tried to settle in. Still, the forest felt off. A nearby couple mentioned that their dog had suddenly panicked earlier, something they said never happened without reason.
We were out in the middle of nowhere, and actually camped here about a decade ago. A situation happened that kind of freaked me out. I'll explain it in a little bit. There is something right here behind the camera.
A recent bear sighting in the area only added to the tension. As night settled in, memories resurfaced. A decade earlier, during a storm in the same area, he had heard something unforgettable, a woman screaming. It didn't sound like an animal or wind, but like someone crying out in fear.
Less than a mile from where I'm at right now. It started raining, so it was already kind of the end of the weekend. We just started packing up. So we're packing things up in the truck, and it's raining on us pretty bad. Just down to the last couple items, getting ready to go, and I hear a scream, and I know it wasn't an elk. I know what an elk sounds like. I don't know. I grab my, I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to say that word. I don't know. I kind of looked for a while. So eventually we decided to just leave. I had nightmares about that for a while. It just bothered me so much to know that this woman needed help.
Then, just as suddenly, it stopped. There was no clear direction, no sign of where it came from. He left that night and carried the weight of uncertainty ever since, haunted by the thought that someone may have needed help. While exploring nearby trails, he came across something disturbing.
Those bars were supposed to be bent over to hold the lid on, but in comparison, you can see the fire. The thing's pretty big. It's probably the size of a coffin, which I sure hope that is not what that is. I don't know what it is, though. Please comment, or even has an idea what it could be. Please comment. Let me walk around it so you can see.
A large metal container, roughly coffin-sized, partially buried in the ground near his campsite.
Oh, well, you had to go.
All right. Well, you can see him peeking his head up back there.
Farther up the mountain, he discovered a collapsed tunnel carved into the rock, darkened by fire marks and signs of human activity. Standing inside, surrounded by towering stone, he realized something chilling. If someone screamed out here, no one would ever hear it. The metal container's coffin-like size and placement raised serious questions about its purpose, especially in such a remote area with signs of past human activity nearby. It doesn't clearly resemble standard storage or camping equipment. If you came across something like this deep in the wilderness, would you investigate further, or leave immediately to stay safe? Jeremy is a dedicated explorer who frequently visits desolate clifftops, often alone. Through his consistent presence in these eerie locations, he provides the Truth Proof channel with valuable insights into the unexplained. His experiences range from fleeting glimpses of anomalous lights to unsettling feelings of dread. But one particular night, armed with his thermal camera, he would capture undeniable evidence of something truly bizarre, an encounter that would challenge his perception of reality.
I got my thermal. It's one of the ones that attached to your phone.
Yeah.
So I could hold it out of what was going on. As I was holding it up, you could see a figure just to the right of the path. You got the fixed camera on the left-hand side. You can see it on the video, the fence post. As I scan across, you've got the path, and then this figure's a powerful torch.
You pointed out it's a torch that's more than capable of going. Shall we just go up here a little bit further? Are you all right for time?
Yeah, it's fine.
So torch is more than capable of going past the distance of this figure.
Yeah. So I got my phone held out with the thermal on it.
I'm not sure what that is.
I've got my torch in the other hand, lighting up the field, which I thought was a little bit odd.
I'd probably thought it were a lot odd, to be honest with you.
And I thought, well, I'll walk towards it. Because,
Yep. Well, you actually comment on footage. I'm going to have to walk.
On a dark night about a month ago, Jeremy was on the cliff tops alone, making his way up a hill toward a fixed camera. Using a thermal camera attached to his phone, he scanned the surroundings. As he swept the camera across the landscape, an unmistakable figure appeared on the thermal display.
I'll walk towards it. Because,
Yep. Well, you actually comment on footage. I'm going to have to walk towards it.
If we don't go towards it, we're never going to know, are we?
Well, I've said to you many occasions, if I ever see anything, you've got to go towards
Investigate it rather than come away. Yeah.
Because otherwise, you're just thinking about it.
So how big would you have estimated it to be?
It was difficult to say.
Yeah.
To be fair, the size of your phone screen.
But if anybody said, "Oh, that's just a rabbit stood on its back feet," or all that.
No, maybe a bit smaller than person, depending on the distance that it
Yeah.
is away from.
I'm sorry that light's dazzling you, Jeremy.
So I decided to walk towards it. As I was walking towards it, I'd scanned the camera about to the left, came back, and it had gone past where the figure would have been. And I scanned around the entire field with the thermal, and you can pick out a fox.
You've looked with your torch, and you can see this thing on thermal, so it's clearly there, but you're looking with your torch where it is and it's not there, and then you take your thermal camera away. When you look again, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's not possible, is it?
No. There's been a couple of occasions over the last couple of weeks that I've come up, so I normally come up before you guys, and I've not wanted to walk any further.
Well, it's unusual for you, that, isn't it?
It is, yeah, because it's, I don't know, I just thought it wasn't a good idea. I can't really put it into words.
And then you said you saw a white light just appear.
Yeah, so that would have been probably a month or two.
So that's a month before you've seen
the
this.
Standing eerily still just off the path to the right. The figure, estimated to be about 150 yards away, appeared to be roughly human-sized, possibly smaller, and seemed to be wearing a backpack. Initially unnerved but determined, Jeremy attempted to identify what he was seeing. He used a powerful torch capable of illuminating the distance and shone it directly toward the spot indicated by the thermal image. There was nothing visible to the naked eye. Yet on the thermal camera, the figure remained, a silent heat signature in an otherwise empty field. Despite growing unease, Jeremy decided to walk toward the location. As he advanced, he scanned the area again with the thermal camera. Upon reaching the spot, the figure had vanished completely, leaving behind an open field with nowhere to hide. Scanning the field further, the thermal camera picked up foxes and rabbits, but no trace of the mysterious figure.
There was a bright light, like a very bright torch light.
Just a single circular light, not a beam or a
not
spread.
a beam. It wasn't lighting anything up. It was just a a bright light, which is sort of like a pinprick, and it disappears. This was on and then off. Well, it was, you know, stayed on for a second or so. If we just carry on up here, I stopped at the way you can see the bench.
All right, yeah.
Which, strangely enough, was around the same sort of spot, that white disc in the field.
Yeah.
Which would have been about that sort of area. So I'd stop there, because so I stopped for about a minute looking out. Just parked up in that top car park and just turned the lights off. So I was sat in there talking probably for 5 minutes. The back door of the car, tried something. Somebody tried to get in the back door.
The unexplained disappearance left Jeremy perplexed. A figure visible on thermal, invisible to the eye, then gone from an open field defied any easy explanation. This was not Jeremy's only strange experience in the area. On other occasions, he described a strong sense of unease that prevented him from continuing farther along the paths, something unusual for him. He also recalled previous sightings in the same vicinity, including a white light that appeared and disappeared, and a white disc seen in the mist years earlier. More recently, Jeremy witnessed a bright circular light in the field, followed moments later by a large, wide shadow moving horizontally against the horizon, unlike anything he had seen before.
Did you see anybody?
No. So I flicked my light beam, had a look round. There was nobody there.
You didn't feel like getting out?
No way I was getting out.
And were your doors locked?
They were locked, yeah.
That's frightening, that, isn't it? When you think about it, if your doors had to be locked.
So,
right.
It is a good job.
Parking about where there's no cars, there's no people, we're in complete darkness.
Yeah.
So if we went to be parked in car park, which is the lower car park. So basically, this is a lesson to be learned for everybody. We talk about UFOs, strange lights, strange people maybe. So don't come up here on your own. I think if we've levelled it out, we've got to say potentially it's a person. It just shows potentially it's not just about unexplained phenomena. There might be somebody unsavoury up here.
Well, it seems to be the thermal cameras are picking things up. Ian filmed the orb,
that
or whatever.
Sphere, yeah, that were revolving.
And we wouldn't have known that was there without the thermal.
No, that's true.
So the thermals do pick.
The host of Truth Proof then shared a separate but equally unsettling experience from a nearby car park close to the Clifftops. While parked in complete darkness during a phone call, the handle of the car's back door was suddenly pulled. When the lights were turned on and the area scanned, no one was visible. The doors had been locked automatically, preventing what could have been a dangerous situation. What stands out most is not just what the camera captured, but where it happened. In places this isolated, even normal explanations feel unsettling. Meet Angelo, the creator behind the YouTube channel Angbona TV, an adventurous explorer drawn to abandoned and mysterious locations. Through raw, immersive footage, he brings viewers into places where history and the unknown overlap, from collapsing buildings to forgotten natural spaces. His goal is to reveal the hidden stories these locations carry, and his bold approach consistently keeps audiences engaged. One day, Angelo and his friend Lomar would learn just how unsettling these explorations could become. On an unspecified date, the two set out to investigate a legendary site known as Haunted Lake, equipped with cameras and a sense of anticipation.
Alright guys, we are currently en route to our next haunted location. It's pretty much in the middle of nowhere. Cell reception's already quite low.
Their drive led them deep into a remote area where cell service quickly weakened, reinforcing the isolation they were heading into.
What are you doing? Come on! Let's get a move on! King's Road? Which one's King's Road? Can't go that way, Omar. Okay, well that was a little confusing. For some reason it says private road. Okay, so, I mean, most of the signs just say you can't park anywhere on the road. We plan on parking somewhere closer to the lake, like actual trails or whatever, to get right to the lake, which is kind of what we wanted to do, but if we have to, we'll park nearby. That's the plan, and then we'll just... You end up with issues in places like this because you're not sure what's public, but obviously there are some spots that are also private property, which is understandable. But we think we may have a way around, so we got to backtrack a little bit and see if it'll actually take us where we want to go. Otherwise, this might be a little bit of a bust. There's a spot in there, it's called Haunted Lake, literally called Haunted Lake, and it is rumored to be extremely haunted.
The trip became increasingly difficult as navigation apps guided them onto private roads and blocked routes, forcing them to turn back several times. Despite the growing frustration, the pull of Haunted Lake, officially labeled that way on Google Maps and rumored to be heavily haunted, kept them moving forward.
Now, hopefully Lomar has no issues with his new old Subaru. This is a lot of freaking rock on this road. I mean, I got all terrains now, so I am good. Make sure we can actually make it without destroying our vehicles. It's pretty freaking far in there too. Right, I think we found a spot. Not here. We kept driving. We are like literally directly across from the lake right now, but back there was a clearing, and I also noticed that looks like it goes straight to Haunted Lake. So we're turning around, and we're going to go back. There's actually like a trail, it looks like, back there.
Doesn't look like much, but
It'll turn into something?
it'll turn into something.
I believe in you. I believe in you. So there's something I've been meaning to test out. I'm going to get to that in a moment. Then afterwards, we'll probably go towards the lake, start setting up camp, but I'm going to try this. Just to give you guys a little preview of what you guys are about to see on the main channel. We're just kind of standing here. There ain't anything else to do, and the reason why we're doing that, but...
Let me just tell him to shut up.
Yeah. Shut up! Nope, didn't work. Let me just flip the off switch. Hang on. This is actually Haunted Lake, what we were talking about. It's legitimately called Haunted Lake on Google Maps, but we're going to wait till the sun sets, and then we're going to continue investigating. Hang on, let me speak up. This is as wilderness as it gets out here in Nova Scotia.
After navigating rough terrain and repeated detours, they eventually found a small clearing deep in the forest across from the lake, where a faint trail appeared to lead directly toward it. As Lomar began setting up camp and arranging tarps, Angelo attempted to test his solar panels, though the lack of sunlight made it ineffective. The surrounding wilderness felt raw and untouched, perfectly matching the stories tied to the lake. As evening approached, the atmosphere grew heavier, and the area felt like deep wilderness, often linked to unexplained encounters. Not long after, Lomar walked toward the lake and returned visibly shaken, reporting unsettling observations.
This is definitely like Bigfoot territory, 100%. But we've already had some weird experiences just in daytime, and now we're waiting basically until the sun sets any minute now. Just kind of sitting here, just waiting. It's getting dark now, starting to get a little spooky. Omar went down there, see if he sees or hears anything. We'll explain what that was on the actual main. Definitely heard something. I know it's really, really loud right now. There's nothing I can do about it, but I don't know. Heard something. I think I just got bit right on that frickin' hand. It's so itchy right now. Dude, I swear I just saw a flash of light over there. Almost like somebody had a flashlight. The hell? Yeah, I saw a flash of light. Yeah, all the way down there. It looked like a flashlight, to be honest. Maybe somebody's coming through, but wouldn't they still have their light on?
Is that tree knocking or is that an animal?
I'm not sure.
I can't hear over these freaking...
I know, me neither. I hear something.
That was like a monkey to me.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like an animal getting like murdered or something.
Soon after, Angelo noticed a strange echo followed by a sudden flash of light across the water, similar to a flashlight, though no person could be seen. This was followed by disturbing animal-like sounds that felt unnatural and deeply unsettling.
Back at the campsite for the time being. Lomar just went in. He said it was really freaky in there. A Wendigo sanctuary. Something crazy just happened. You'll see that in a bit. But yeah, I'm gonna go in myself alone because I'm stupid. Lomar went in. He survived. So I don't know why it wouldn't be okay for me to go in. This rain is really a buzzkill tonight, but it should stop at some point, maybe like 3 in the morning or something like that. All right. Whoa, this is definitely kind of creepy. Let me grab my other flashlight. Okay, now I'm hearing whistling. That is not an animal. I literally just heard a person. Well, that was a target. Those are some big rounds too. Somebody's been out here doing some shooting. Okay, I just heard something down there. What was that? Whoa. Okay. Something just took a big step back here. There's another can over there. I don't know what that was back there. It literally sounded like something stomped. Hello? Somebody back here? weird. I was hearing a voice. It sounded kind of like it came from this side. The stomp was like over there. The whistling was like this direction. It's like 3 different things in completely different directions. Well, I guess we can confirm this place has definitely got something going on. Whoa, it keeps going. But I was seeing like this multicolor light or reflection or something out there. I hear something back there. What in the... What was that? Dude, it's like somebody's like right next to me. Dude, that happened at the lake too. What is doing that? Starting to feel a little out of it.
Back at camp, Lomar explained that the area near the lake felt dangerous and forbidden. Despite worsening weather and steady rain, Angelo chose to enter the forest alone to investigate further. Inside the woods, he soon heard odd whistling sounds that did not resemble known animal behavior. Farther in, he discovered signs of recent human activity, including discarded cans and shell casings. His discomfort grew as he began hearing sounds that resembled footsteps, voices, and heavy movement behind him. The noises seemed to come from different directions, increasing confusion and fear.
What's doing those sounds? What is that? Okay, I'm gonna go a little further in. We're out here now. What the was that? What the was that? Flee the building. The was that? Okay, I've had enough. Something's here. Something's like making some weird ass breathing sounds. It's like something's following me. Whatever's here, stay here. Don't follow me. Okay. Continuing on. I'm gonna just record the whole way through just in case. But that is like creepy. I don't know what the hell was making those noises. I feel like something's out there. It's creepy. Damn. Okay. Well, let's go make sure Lomar is okay. I think the campsite's like just back here. Oh man, that trail goes in far. Damn. I'm assuming people probably can ATV through there, but I don't really know if this is just a natural trail or it seems like somebody probably made it for off-road. Yay.
As he continued, Angelo noticed strange multicolored lights or reflections in the distance and heard sounds that felt uncomfortably close, leaving him disoriented. The situation escalated quickly, and he decided to end the investigation and retreat back toward camp. During the retreat, even more disturbing sounds emerged, giving him the sense that something was following him. The feeling of being watched did not fade until he reached the campsite. Once reunited, it became clear that both Angelo and Lomar had experienced similar unsettling sounds, including heavy whistling. Although neither was physically harmed, the psychological impact was lasting. The events defied explanation and left them with serious questions about the true nature of Haunted Lake. Trusting their instincts, they chose safety, but the memory of the sounds, the lights, and the feeling of being watched stayed with them. One thing was clear: the legends surrounding Haunted Lake were far more disturbing than they had ever expected. That's all for tonight's video. Which encounter gave you chills? Let us know in the comments below. Got your own experience? We want to hear it. And whatever you do, don't miss what's coming next.